like to welcome you to Revealed Ministries here in Tallahassee, Florida. This is Marcus Noble. Today's message, we will be talking about being unequally yoked, what it is, the different scenarios you might find yourself in, and how to deal with it. First off, there's really two scenarios a Christian would find themselves in when it comes to being unequally yoked. The first scenario we're going to get in today is one a Christian is commanded to never do. For that, we're going to read 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Not only does this serve a good gauge in our normal life, that we should hang out more with our Christian brothers and sisters, when it comes to finding a mate, a Christian is commanded to never even entertain the idea of being with an unbeliever. A Christian is commanded to never entertain the idea of establishing a relationship with an unbeliever. Why does it even matter? Anyone that's been married a while will understand this quite well. But in a marriage, you have concerns and you have desires. And in a marriage, to go successfully, they need to be intertwined. Because once you're married, you're one flesh. You're looking at the same concerns and same desires. If one is saved and the other is not saved, you can see the tension right off from the front. If you find that your desire is one that is searching after Jesus Christ, living your life for Jesus Christ, and your spouse is not trying to live for Jesus Christ, you can see the tension and the stress it will put on your walk with Christ. And you can never be truly fulfilled if you're married to an unbeliever. So this is a no-go, no-start right from the get-go. You do not even go on a date with an unbeliever. You can't do it. That's not in your circle of potential mates. I was reading a story not too long ago, and just for disclaimer purposes, I'll tell you the website, StephanieMayWilson.com. She had a great example of how this goes, being unequally yoked. As a Christian, we're heading north. And there's two kinds of unbelievers we can be married to. The one that's heading east, over here, and we're heading north. Now this person heading east, the spouse heading east, they don't mind you being a Christian. They're not actively trying to stop you from being a Christian, but they aren't going to do it for themselves. So basically, a good image to put in your mind is, where do you end up if you're heading north and they're heading east? You end up northeast. You're not heading north where you're trying to. You're not reaching your full potential in your walk with Christ. It's a struggle. For the first scenario, we'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 13. And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So this is very clear. If you are heading north and your spouse is heading east, because obviously this is talking about a spouse that's headed east, right? They're not a believer themselves, but they're not trying to discourage you and they're not trying to leave you. Well, you need to stay married. You need to treat that spouse in a Christian manner so she can see the fruit of the Spirit coming through in your life. I'm just going to give you references on this, but if you read Ephesians 5 and 25, Ephesians 5 verses 22 and 23, and 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 1, basically tells us to treat our entire family in the Christian way. Treat them as they are Christians, so they can see the light of Jesus, the light of Christ, and they can see the fruit of the Spirit working through you. And in many cases, they all will come to Christ. Not every case, but a lot of times they will come to Christ because they'll see the changes in your life. So what happens if you get saved and this causes a dire problem in your marriage where the other spouse does not want you to be saved? They're putting up roadblocks. They're actively trying to stop you from being a Christian. They ultimately threaten to leave you. What happens? Are we allowed to get a divorce? They didn't cheat on us. For that, we'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace. So you can see right there that if it causes such a strife in the marriage where your spouse will leave you, you are free. That is grounds for divorce. If they don't have a problem with you being a Christian, you need to hold on to that spouse and possibly win them over. But if they want to leave you and cause you problems, let them leave. And you're free to remarry. You're free to go about your life and live in peace. You see, having an unbelieving spouse that truly has a problem with you being a Christian, well, that spouse is headed south. You're headed north. Just imagine. You're not going nowhere. Just think of it like that. It's an obstacle. And believe me, I know what that is. So what I want to tell you today is try to win your family over. If you're that Christian out there and you're unequally yoked, just treat your family like they're Christians themselves. Show them the light of Jesus Christ. Show them the fruit of the Spirit. And show them the changes in your life. And maybe eventually they will walk their way over to Christ. Now listen, I'm going to ask you to subscribe if you can. If you can hit a like, I'd appreciate it. But I hope you enjoyed on this message on Unequally Yoked. Until next time, this is Marcus, across Revealed Ministries, and I'll be praying for you.